My visit to Toronto Public Library, a social story for everyone.
A boy sitting at a table in the library in front of an open book. He is wearing a face mask and looking at the camera.
Today I'm visiting my library.
A boy wearing a face mask walking through the security gate at the library.
Things are a little different now because of the pandemic, but you can still use the library safely in person and online at home.
A girl wearing a face mask holding a book and looking at the camera.
The library is free to use and I am always welcome at the library.
An older boy and younger girl wearing face masks sitting on the carpet in the children's area of the library. They are looking at an open book in their laps, and the boy is pointing to something in the book. There is a walker behind him.
There are many libraries to choose from in my city, Toronto.
An illustrated map of the city of Toronto showing major landmarks, roads, and Lake Ontario.
All libraries are different. Some libraries are big.
The outside of a large library with tall buildings in the background. The outside of a large library with a bright blue sky in the background.
While some libraries are small.
The outside of a small brick library with grass and trees on both sides. A person is walking up a ramp to the entrance. The outside of a yellow brick library with large glass windows.
At my library. I can go to the children's area.
A young girl and two adults with face masks standing between two rows of bookshelves in the library. The girl is holding a book in her hands and the adults are looking down at her.
I can choose books.
A boy wearing a face mask pulling a children's book from a library shelf and looking at its cover.
I can choose movies.
A teenage girl wearing a face mask standing in front of a shelf of DVDs in the library. She is holding a DVD in one hand and looking at its cover.
I can choose music.
A girl wearing a hearing device and a face mask standing in front of a rack of CDs and reaching out to pick one up.
I can use a computer.
A girl wearing headphones sitting in front of a library computer and looking at its screen. The screen shows the word "Welcome."
I can use the library's website to read books and watch movies.
A boy wearing a face mask sitting on a walker at a table. He is holding an iPad and looking at it.
I can meet a friend or make a new one while keeping a safe distance.
Two teenage girls wearing face masks, standing facing each other in front of a library bookshelf. One is looking down at a book in her hand and signing in American Sign Language.
I can go to a free library program, sometimes in person and sometimes online.
A young woman wearing a face mask sitting atop a bench in the library. She is holding a picture book face out that shows a drawing of farm animals. A toy stuffed cow is on the bench next to her.
Sometimes the library is very busy and loud.
A young girl and a woman sitting at a table in the library. The girl is holding a crayon with a drawing in front of her. Her mouth is wide open and she is smiling. The woman is wearing a face mask and looking at the child.
Sometimes the library is very quiet.
A girl wearing a face mask standing between rows of bookshelves in the library. Her back is to the camera and she is looking at the shelves.
I can ask someone if I need to find a quiet place.
A girl wearing a face mask sitting on a bench in front of a window with books scattered around her. She is holding a book in her lap and looking down at it.
I can use stairs, a ramp, or an elevator to get to where I need to go.
A boy and a girl wearing face masks walking down the stairs in the library. The girl is holding the handrail and looking down at her feet. The boy has his hands at his sides and is looking at the girl. A boy entering an elevator while sitting on a wheeled walker. His back is to the camera.
I can use the washroom if I need it during my visit.
A boy wearing a face mask sitting on a walker and pressing a button to open an automatic washroom door.
Library staff can answer my questions and help me find what I need.
A boy and a woman standing in front of a row of library computers. They are both wearing face masks. The woman is wearing an identification badge around her neck and is leaning on the table to speak to the boy.
I can find the library staff at the help desk or around the library.
A girl standing in front of a man who is sitting at a computer in the library. There is a plexiglass barrier between them and they are both wearing face masks.
I can use my free library card to borrow things from the library, like books, music, and movies.
A girl wearing a face mask standing in the library. She is looking at the camera and holding a children's library card up to her chest.
Before I leave, I can check out things myself or ask library staff for help.
A boy and a girl wearing face masks standing in front of a checkout computer. The boy is wearing headphones and looking down at a pile of books on a pad. The girl is looking at the computer screen.
When I am finished with the things I have borrowed, I return them for others to use.
A teenage girl in a face mask standing in front of an electronic book return slot inside the library. She is using a touchscreen with one hand and holding a pile of books in the other. A girl wearing a face mask standing in front of a metal book return slot outside the library. She has a pile of books in one hand and is using the other to place a book into the slot. The slot has the word returns written on it.
It's time to go now, but I can come back to the library another day.
A boy and a girl standing outside the library. The girl is holding a book in her hands and they are looking at the camera and smiling.
What would you like to do at the library?